Welcome to Mythical Phylogeny Adventures. I'm your guide Jason. There are no limits to the incredible creatures which mythology has provided, and often we see similar ones appearing, such as the Chollima. The Chollima, or Qianlima, or Senrima comes from Asian mythology, with variations found in Chinese, Korean, and Japanese mythologies. It is said to be untamable and incredibly elegant. There are several myths where mortals have tried, and they all failed, some rather spectacularly. Now what is it? Well, it is a winged horse, very similar to Pegasus. Now its wings are not always said to be tangible, but instead made of fire and wind. Its body is said to have a shimmering gold color, or have shimmering colors running through its mane. We actually know how fast it can fly. That comes from its name. Qianlima means 1,000 li horse, which is how far it can travel in a day. A li is a Chinese mile, which ends up being about 500 meters. Some measurements will give smaller numbers, and you'll see why I'm not doing those. And 1,000 li is about 310 miles or 500 kilometers, roughly. So 310 divided by 24 hours gives us 12.9 miles per hour, or 20.8 kilometers per hour. Okay, if we take the literal description, that isn't that fast. Doubly so when it is flying. A normal horse can run up to 30 miles, 48 kilometers per hour, but does not have that much endurance. They cannot run for miles on end before resting. No, humans are one of the few species which have that kind of endurance. But this is in one day, which other horses would fatigue out before reaching it. And like most mythical creatures, probably not an accurate estimate of its size or speed. Honestly, I think this is an underestimate. Now, I'm rather glad that the wings aren't actually flesh and blood. The largest flying animal in the fossil record is Quetzalcoatlus. Now, there are some wild speculations in its size and weight. It is believed to weigh 400 to 900 pounds, 200 to 440 kilograms, and has a wingspan of 11 to 25.8 meters, or 36 to 85 feet. So a wide range to be sure, and very inconsistent. But this is the fossil record, and it is missing some parts. Now a Chinese horse weighs about 271 to 321 kilograms, or 600 to 708 pounds. Okay, so potentially lighter than Quetzalcoatlus. But if these are physical wings, that means we are looking for a wingspan of at least 50 feet, but likely more. And that means it'll have trouble taking off. But with wings made of fire and wind, we could create something similar to a jet engine or a hot air balloon to gain flight. Tornadoes are well known for picking up large objects, so it can fly using that trick also. And this would likely be more accurate to its speed spoken of in the stories. And this does tie back to its origins. There isn't a lot here, but one story does speak of it being born from the sky itself, a gift from the sky to the world. Chollima is often used as a symbol of excelling. Now you're probably thinking that this is similar to the Pegasus, and yes, they are very similar. That we can't argue. Yet there is another link, that is the Longma, or the dragon horse, another mythical creature from China. We also have dozens of other mythical horses and steeds throughout mythology. Yeah, mythical horses are probably the most common creature you'll see. Well, the domestication of horses is amongst the most influential moments in human history. They are strong workers and provide a great boost to travel speed. And we see this reflected in Chollima's view. It is the peak of what could be, but it is beyond our grasp. No one can ride it. If anyone puts a bit or bridle on it, it will throw them off. It is the unattainable to be sure. So what happens if you meet Chollima? Well, the first issue is its speed. That is what it is known for. Yes, I know the speed that we calculated is actually pretty slow, but let's assume that it is as fast as they say. That will mean that you'll need to be quick to keep up. So spells to boost your speed, teleportation, or time stop. The last one will be invaluable if you can pull it off. But there is another issue. It flies. And if you are most likely human, you don't. Nope, you are probably stuck on the ground. Thus, you'll need ranged weapons if you want to reach it. A high-speed creature while airborne. That is going to be tough to hit. Good luck with a bow. But I do have good news. It doesn't seem to have any range attacks. Which means, if it intends to hurt you, it will need to swoop down to strike you. Its best weapons would be its hooves. They'll be hard and will hurt if struck by them. I would choose plate armor or a shield against these attacks. Of course, it could bite you, but the hooves are better. This is going to be your best chance to strike back. This is when you can swing back. It'll charge in, taking a straight line. That means you are less likely to miss. And when it attacks, then you could bring out a sword or a spear. But here is the most important thing. If you are after Chollima, you aren't trying to slay it. No. You are wanting to tame it and mount it. That means you'll need to trap and capture it. Now, there are going to be a couple of issues. Namely, the wings are made of fire and wind. That may create strong gusts of wind to contend with. This will likely blow many tricks away. Yet a net might work. With the holes in it, the wind should pass by without too much issue. But even if you can catch our winged horse, the flames will likely burn it away. But if you only catch the legs, and attach the net to something really heavy, it might hold it in place. But what about magic? I mentioned a couple of spells earlier, but let's look at the elements. Lightning could probably hit it, but that would likely cause harm. And I am 99% sure you want it alive. So what about ice? The problem would be the heat coming off its wings. There is a high chance that any ice-based spell would melt away before you could catch it. The best chance would be if you could bind the legs to hold it down. That will place it as far from the flames as possible. But I do think it would eventually break free, so you'll need to act fast. Oh, and I'm betting fire magic is worthless. Oddly enough, certain types of wood would be fire resistant to burning. Or at least would burn slow enough that a plant growth spell might work, but would likely end up with the same result as ice magic. But what if you could control metal? That might be a different story. I don't know if Chollima's flame wings are hard enough to melt metal, but at the least it should help. This is probably your best option. Yet there is one school of magic which might help, and that is illusions. Especially a sleep spell would help. This way, you don't actually need to fight it and capture it. However, that is only half of this battle. The second part is staying mounted and taming Chollima. You'll need heat resistance surely, so enchant your armor or down a few potions. Now, any bit or bridle placed on it will be thrown off, which means you'll need to lash yourself to the winged horse. And I'd use chainmail ropes to do so. Now hold on for dear life, and hope that you can tire out this horse, which will likely take a day. Good luck! Of course, there is one more spell which I haven't touched on. One which could make this whole ordeal much simpler. And that is the spell to speak with animals and command animals. Yes, just talk. That is literally the easiest way to handle this. Ask it for its help. Be polite and courteous. And hopefully, Chollima will lend you a ride. This isn't a simple fight. Doubly so when your goal will surely be to tame such a beast. You aren't trying to bring down this creature. Then add in its incredible speed of legend and its flight, and you'll struggle to do anything effective. Between all of this, I'm going to go with a 5 out of 10 for difficulty. Speed and communication will be the most important things here. According to the legends, this is an insanely fast speed. And if by some miracle you can tame such a majestic creature, that is what you'll get. Now the legends say that it can travel 1,000 li in a day. That isn't that far. So I do hope the truth is much faster. If it is, you could cover the horizon in a short time. But even if it is as slow as we calculated, and I do hope I am wrong, then it's still going to cover a lot of distance. 1. It has endurance, it won't fatigue out. And 2. It flies. That means it can cut across difficult terrain, over canyons and rivers without difficulty. Now we don't know how much it can carry, but at least some weight which will help. In battle, you can swoop down to strike or fire arrows from up on high. No need to dirty your boots with mud and dirt. Stay safe high above. Definitely more helpful alive than dead. If you slay it, all you get is meat, hide, and bone. Nothing even close to a flying steed. Wouldn't you agree? Regardless, the name Chollima is an interesting variation of the Pegasus. Wouldn't you agree? Though I think the name isn't the perfect description. There is a reason why it has come to mean excellence in Asian cultures. Thank you for watching, adventurers. Please return next time. Until then, I'll see you on the roads.